Hello and welcome to one of our next videos about grammar lesson. I hope that everybody should be alright, tip-top condition, and I do hope that you should pass this Ramadan month in a great condition and do well. Today I'm back with another grammar lesson. If you remember about last video that we have talked, it was about active and passive and how can we recognize the sentences if they are active or passive sentence. Today we will review how can we change an active sentence to passive sentences, and you will review some important rules that can help us to change them easily. First, Mahdi drives the new car. I have examples here, or the new car is driven by Mahdi. If I ask you these sentences, are they active or passive? Of course you'll answer me if you watched the last video. Now, Mahdi drives new car. What kind of sentence is it? Very good. That is an active sentence. Why active? Because subject of the sentence is doer of the action, and we have talked about it. The second example, the new car is driven by Mahdi. What is that? Excellent. That is passive. Why passive? Because subject of the sentence is the receiver of the action. Now, I've got some rules here that can help all of us for changing an active sentence to passive. Now, it is not important what kind of active sentence do you have. Just these simple rules can help you to change any sentence of active to passive sentence. First rule, change object of an active sentence to the subject of passive. Before doing this one, so I want to tell you, you need to analyze the sentence that you want to change to passive. You need to find out where is subject, where is verb, where is object, or each word, what are their functions. Mahdi is subject, what is drive here? Verb, and the new car is object. If you don't find out what is object, an active sentence, and of course changing of that to passive is a little harder. Now, this is an object of active sentence. We directly, as the first rule said, change object of an active sentence to subject of passive sentence. We bring this one, the new car, as subject of passive sentence, the new car. Got it? Very clear. The second rule, you should use one of the be forms after the subject in passive sentence. I mean by be form is, am, are, was, were, have been, has been, had been, will be, and being. Which one should be used? That is a question. It is easy. First of all, you need to find out which tense is your active sentence is. I mean, find out its tense. Is it simple past? Is it present simple? Is it future tense? Is it present perfect tense, past perfect tense, a progressive tense, a future tense, what? Then it can help you to use one of these be forms easily. Mahdi drives the new car. Which tense is it? Present simple. Now, when it is present simple, the be forms that I'm going to use here, that is, am, or, are. As you see an example, the new car is. That is it. That how can we use any of them according to the subject of the sentence. If your sentence is a past simple, then use was or were after subject. If that is present perfect, use have been or has been. If that is past perfect, use had been. If that is future simple, use will be. If that is a progressive tense, then use being with any of the auxiliary verbs that you will work with examples. Now, the third rule that we have for changing of an active sentence to passive is here. We always use past participle or third form of the verb in our passive sentences. It is not important which tense your active sentence is. Is it present simple? Is it past simple? Future tense? Progressive tense? That is not important. We always use the third form of the verb or the past participle form of the verb in passive sentences. Look here. The new car is driven by Mahdi. Our main verb in simple present is drives, but we have changed into passive sentence like driving. Driving is the third form of the verb. And the fourth rule, change subject of an active sentence to by phrase of passive. I mean, use subject of active sentence as by plus object. Here, by Mahdi. Means you can bring the door of your action in active sentence to passive sentence by using by plus subject. And as I should mention here, this rule is optional. I mean, it is not necessary that always should use by phrase or always should mention about subject of your active sentence. In the next video, we will talk about when we can use from active and passive, especially passive. Then we will talk that why it is not important in next videos. That is all. Mahdi drives the new car. The new car is driven by Mahdi. First, if I summarize it, we change subject of we change object of an active sentence to the subject of passive voice. Then we use one of the be forms. Next, we use past participle form of the verb or third form of the verb. And finally, the last rule that is optional, we use subject of an active sentence, or we change it to the by phrase part of passive if you want. I've got here example about progressive tenses. Ali is playing football. Which tense is it? Present progressive tense or present continuous tense. Now if I change that again, first we analyze our sentence. Was Ali here? Subject. What is be. What is playing? Verb ing. And what is football? It is object. Same rules. Object changed to the subject of passive voice. Second, in all progressive tenses we use being. Past progressive, present progressive, future progressive, or any progressive. But before that, we need an auxiliary verb. I mean, you should use is being, you should use was being, or you should use will being, because it should make a complete sense. Because that is present progressive tense, we use is, am, or before being. If that is a past progressive tense, then we use was, were plus being. If that is future continuous tense, then we use will plus being. I mean, according to the active sentence tense, we select which auxiliary verb should we use before being to complete the meaning of a progressive sentence. Ali is playing football. Football is being played by Ali. So now, if I'm giving you an extra example about past progressive tense, for example, Mahdi was eating potato. That is past progressive. And if I change that to passive, potato was being eaten by Mahdi. I have used instead of is, was. Why? Because our active sentence is in past progressive tense. Then we use one of the past progressive auxiliary forms of to be verb in our passive sentence. And as an important rule of active and passive, when you have an auxiliary verb in your sentence, how can we change them to a passive sentence? I can drink water. If you notice, we have an auxiliary verb here, like can. We have a lot of auxiliary verbs, like can, could, may, would, will, shall, or any other one. If we have them in our sentence, how can we change them to passive? Usually they are not included of rules that I mentioned you before. For example, I can drink water. Water can be drank. That is the structure that we have for them. It is auxiliary verb plus be plus third form of verb. I mean, we use that auxiliary verb in active sentence again in passive sentence after subject. Any auxiliary verb. After that, we use be. And after be, third form or past participle form of the verb. For example, you should play football. Football should be played by you, if you want to mention. And the general structure that we have for all passive sentences, that is be plus third form of the verb. As we have in all passive sentences, that is be plus third form of the verb. Thanks for watching. If you have any question, any idea or any suggestion, you can comment down the video. And do not forget to subscribe our channel for more videos. Thank you.